To follow up on the questions about the man who attacked the woman in Chinatown, what does it say about our criminal justice system that a man can have been arrested a half dozen plus times in the past year and have a rap sheet with some 40 incidents on it and be released back into the general public pending his court date and his trial?
It says we have more work to do. Nolan, look, first of all, the most central problem has been not having our court system operating, because when the court system is operating, we see constant movement, we see decisions being made, we see consequences, it makes an impact. We haven't had that for over a year. We're starting to get that back now. But I think we have to keep looking constantly at the right approaches. We've got to keep people safe. We've got to do it fairly. We proved for years in this city you can do both at once. But I think there's more work to be done, and we need to keep reconsidering the best way to do it. Go ahead, Nolan.
On the larger issue of crime in the city, we've just gotten the recent shooting numbers for the month of May. There were some 150 shootings over the last month. This is levels last seen previously in 2007, and then the last time we touched the number was in 1997, when your former police commissioner was on his first tour of duty. You keep saying there's a plan to do something about this, and that the numbers will, and that the success of this plan will be borne out in those results. It's now June. We're at shooting levels that we haven't really seen in the last 20 years in the city. What do you say to people who are impatient for results?
I say to them exactly what I've been saying, and I'm absolutely convinced that we're going to turn this around. I have a lot of faith in the NYPD. We had 850 more officers join the force coming out of the academy last month, 600 coming this month. We have put the most police in the subways in 25 years. We have the court system finally, this is the second week only, it has been fully operational since over a year ago. It will take time to ramp up, but it's going to make an impact. The recovery itself is helping us to make people safer. The investments we're putting in communities, cure violence, crisis management system, all of these things are going to add up. But you don't turn around the results of a global pandemic and a whole dislocation of our society. You don't turn it around overnight, but we are going to turn it around.
Last question for today goes to Gersh from Streets Blog.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, and everyone on the call. I look forward to that ride on Ocean Parkway with you at some point.
You gotta be there, Gersh.
I'll be there. Listen, I know you were asked yesterday about Washington Square Park, but this is clearly an ongoing story about a major change in public space and how public space is policed in this city, especially in a park where you yourself called one of the most important ones in town. So policing of public space is the central issue of why people are, in a lot of ways, protesting police misconduct and brutality. So having the NYPD close at 10 p.m. in the summer, a critical public space, is a decision that needs more explanation. So first, can you tell me how you and the NYPD made this decision? And I need you to go beyond restating what you said yesterday, that it's a noise issue for a residential community, because as you well know, Washington Square Park has been a boisterous gathering place for far longer than even those current residents have been living there.
I didn't say it was just a noise issue. I think there's several different things happening that need to be addressed. And coming up with a proactive way of addressing it, making sure everyone is safe, not having a situation where we've got a bigger reality we have to address, but instead dealing with it up front makes sense at this moment. This is something we're doing now, Gersh. It's not necessarily something we're doing for the long term, obviously. But there's been a series of activities in the park that just aren't what should be happening in the park, and it's important to do something proactive about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, it's funny you mentioned the activities in the park, and we were curious about that too. So we had our reporter, Chris Robbins, ask the NYPD for whether there had been arrests. Perhaps there's been a spike in arrests in the park, which would explain at least why the NYPD believes the park needs to be closed at 10 p.m. on Friday, summer weekday nights. But the NYPD did not provide any arrest numbers to us, so we're wondering if you could get that to us by the end of the day as well.
Sure. Well, we'll get you whatever the specific facts are. But the bottom line is to come up with strategies that respect a whole community, keep everyone safe, proactive, not reactive. Look, we've all gone through so much with COVID. We're coming out of it now because people have gone out and gotten vaccinated. New Yorkers have helped each other out. We want to move forward a positive, peaceful summer. We want to move forward an extraordinary recovery in this city. And we got to do that with smart approaches that really listen to communities, and that's what we're trying to do there and all over the city. So everyone, look, today, some really impressive good news, continuing to build our vaccination effort, continuing to drive down COVID. I will conclude with a simple message. If you haven't done it yet, particularly if you haven't made sure your kids are vaccinated yet, go out there, make that appointment, get vaccinated, help us move forward. Thank you, everybody.